There are many macro lenses available for all the brands, but not like this one. This Meticon 200mm f4 lens, there's a massive printout of the name of it on it. It's a little bit different. It is big, it is very hard to use, and it is a different focal length than most of macro lenses available for mirrorless cameras, especially right now. In this video I'll talk about its performance, why this lens could be good for you, its build, its value for money, its price, and in the end I'll give you my final thoughts why this lens could be for you. So keep watching, don't skip, and you're gonna find out more about it. This video about this lens is, as you can see, filmed outside by the Polish lake. Why not? Something a bit different, and somewhere I am at the moment testing this lens, shooting with it macro and telephoto pictures. So firstly, disclaimer, very quick one. This lens has been sent on loan to me from Meticon for this review. However, I was not asked or paid to say anything specific about it, so it is my honest and totally unbiased opinion about this lens. If you've never heard of Meticon before, they've been going for a while producing affordable high quality lenses, prime lenses usually, and they also known as Zhongyi or ZY Optics. I'll say a reputable Chinese company producing high quality lenses. It is a full frame lens available for pretty much most of major ones or all the mounts right now. So anything from Sony E mount to Canon EF, Canon RF, Nikon Z, Fuji X as well, and L mount, which I have been using. This is because there is no electronic contact with the camera. They basically sell it with a different mount. You can attach it to the camera, and everything you do with this lens is controlled manually by the camera or by the lens itself. So what's so different about 200mm macro? It is a telephoto lens. 200mm focal length allows you to get that macro closer shots without getting too close to your subject. With most macro lenses, standard focal length macro lenses like a 90 or 50mm, you can literally touch your subject, your photographic macro subject with the end of the lens. But this being longer and longer focal length, you do have like a half a meter minimum focusing distance, but the lens is longer and you measure from the sensor from the camera, so it's still close to the end of the lens, but not as close because the barrel is quite long as well. It is a telephoto lens suitable for landscape or getting things further away in your shots, also for sports, wildlife, or whatever you need that further reach. It's like 70 to 200, but stuck at 200 permanently. It is different for sure. Although it is a f4 lens, you get crazy depth of field with this because of the zoom compression or because of that 200mm telephoto focal range, focal length. It does compress the perspective. It basically makes it look like the background is closer to your subject but more blurred. Great look, very nice bokeh as well, but so much harder to shoot with. When you get macro with it, it is very hard to get that right focus point. The shallow depth of field is thin, it's hairline thin or even thinner than this. The depth of field at f4 wide open makes this lens very hard to use because of the lens compression. You magnify everything very big. It is a long lens. It's not stabilized at all optically, so you have to rely on your hands, steady hands, or you have to use the tripod or camera eye base as well if it works with non-electronically connected lenses in your camera. But yeah, you need a lot of practice, you need stability to get decent pictures with it. If you got something moving, it gets triple hard. So anything like butterflies, bugs, or anything moving, you really have to work hard to get the sharp shots because of depth of field is very shallow. Ideally you'd close aperture to make the depth of field a little bit less shallow, but with a macro lens and when you go macro close up, even at f16 the shallow depth of field is still very shallow and hard to use. Also the focus ring is very good on this, but you need macro adjustments sometimes which are very hard to achieve if you got something moving. On the other hand, I do like this because it's more challenging to achieve great results, and when you achieve great results it's much more rewarding. You get that sense of achievement that you nailed a picture or video shot perfectly right because you manually focus. As well as that, most of macro lenses, all macro lenses that I have used before, 98% of the time you shoot in manual anyway, because the focusing on macro lenses, autofocusing on macro lenses, is not very good either. so what's right? This is, I think, the old school right way to shoot with macro lens. When autofocusing is missing is when you're shooting anything else than macro, like portrait or landscape. You'd like to nail that focus a bit quicker. Yes, it's practice. All it takes is practice with a lens like this to get the better shots and get the better results. Using this lens for video is just no different. It's practice. You have to nail those focus pulls right. Shallow depth of field, again, not stabilized. Yeah, very good lens for video work, but you have to work harder, just like with photography, which is the nature of this beast. Talking about the quality, this lens delivers outstanding results. The color, the contrast is very good. The sharpness, when you nail it, is also very, very good, but harder to achieve. The only thing I've noticed with this lens, which it's not really a surprise really, is the lens flares or shooting towards the bright light sources. You do have some crazy light leaking and lens flaring, but again, when do you really shoot a macro lens, macro towards big light sources like this? Yes, it's not just the lens one-trick pony for macro photography. You can use it for portrait as well, as I mentioned before, but it's not a biggie. If you use it right, you just change the position slightly or use those lens flares to your advantage to create more organic or more creative, more attractive look, if that's what you like. Let's talk about the build. It is built like a tank. It's all metal construction, really old school, like the old vintage lenses, all Leica lenses even. It is very, very well made, and it looks also very good. But it is heavy, 1.3 kilograms. It weighs a ton. The lens hood is all metal as well, and it is felt line to stop the light reflections from inside the hood hitting the glass, the front glass element. There's a standard Arca Swiss lens collar, which is movable and it is removable if that bothers you. I quite like putting these, if I don't use a lens on the tripod, I like putting these up so I can actually pick the camera and lens by it and use it as a handle instead of a tripod foot. But yeah, it's there because the lens is heavy. You do want to take that stress off the mount of the camera and don't damage the camera because the lens is heavy. As I mentioned before, the focus ring is super smooth, but in my opinion is probably not long enough. The throw of the focus is not long enough because doing macro adjustment is very difficult. Shallow depth of field, plus you have to sometimes turn the focus ring a tiny bit, and that is sometimes very tricky. I don't know if it's just the nature of the focal length combined with the macro capability or telephoto capability of the lens or the lack of longer focus throw, but it is sometimes more challenging than most of lenses to focus manually with. There's also aperture ring, which is clicked, it's not declicked, it's nice and smooth and it works very well. Metal mounts with no electronic contacts, as I mentioned before, and the filter thread is 67 millimeters, pretty standard. No matter how you look at this lens is very, very well made, and it is also very good looking. Price, it is pretty affordable for a lens like this, for a macro telephoto lens, $499. I don't think that it's got any competition at this price for macro lens, 200mm macro lens especially. It is it could be a specialist lens used just for macro, specialist macro photography, but it is also telephoto lens that you can use for things you need telephoto lens for, like wildlife or sports. Yeah, it's hard to use. That makes it a little bit different, puts it in a different class because it is hard to use, but it delivers great results. So I think it could maybe be very good value for money at $499, as it's got no competition with this. So if you want a lens which you don't have to stick in your insect when you want to photograph it, you want to be slightly further back, this could be really it. Yeah, very well priced for what you get here from Metzicon with this lens. Conclusion: it's not a lens for everyone. It is a specialist macro with telephoto capabilities, but it delivers amazing quality results. You do need a very steady hands, patience, and tripod, possibly tripod the most out of everything. It is a lens that delivers great results. It is a lens it's a pleasure to shoot with, and very versatile and very rewarding to get those shots right, and the lens that can certainly make you a better photographer, in my opinion. So yeah, highly recommend it. Very good macro lens at a very good price. And this is it from me. I hope this video was in some way helpful or informative. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.